1051.
What up, y'all? It's DJ MB Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning, and we got some special guests with us today.
Always a pleasure to have this man in the building. Whenever he's here, you know it means business.
That's right.
Mr. Londell McMillan,
Londell McMillan.
Good morning.
Good
owner of the
morning.
Free World.
Good morning. No, I'm just trying. Just a kid from Brooklyn.
All right.
Now
Owner of
this-
the Source magazine.
That's right, and the very much anticipated Power 30 issue just came out. This is
Before we do that,
Yes.
the last 2 years that he came up here,
Yes.
he had a guest. You had Kim Osario with you.
I had Kim Osario and
She's
I had
not here
Kazim.
anymore.
That's right. That's right.
You fired him?
Oh, no, not fired. We have agreements where we work together and keep building. They're all part of the family, even to this day.
What?
That
And
was
you
a
are
pol-
so
that was-
harsh.
That was a political answer. I'm just asking. I just want to
No,
know what
no,
happened. We always
no,
see Kim.
no.
I don't see Kim today. I'm just asking.
Kim is a brand. She's not supposed to stay in one place at one time. You gotta keep evolving and keep doing things. But the key is never to lead a family in a way that's not contributing. So shout out to my girl Kim Osario,
Okay.
and you'll see her penning great stories for the Source.
Just making sure.
So who is this Caucasian man with all the tattoos sitting to your left, Londell?
Oh, that's our creative director, Don. He's far from a Caucasian, Don.
You're not
Don's been
Caucasian?
around from day. He was here before I was even here,
Absolutely.
Oh, let me wipe my eyes then, 'cause that look like a white man to me. Who's that?
man. You don't see all those tats? Let's go.
No, what are you, Don? I just need to know from my.
I'm a lot of things.
Okay.
Well,
That means I'm a shooter too, so leave me alone. Don't touch
Leave
me.
him alone. It's Power 30. What's going on?
So now the Source 30 just was released. The Power 30, I should say.
and it's a 25-year anniversary, too, which is a very special issue. 25 years?
Yes, 25 years. But this is not the 25-year anniversary issue, but we are correct. It's correct. We are in the 25th year of the Source. People don't know this. Source started in 1988 by two Harvard students. You know, one was Dave Mays, the other one's John Schechter. And, you know, it's interesting. Two Jewish guys came up with something to celebrate the beauty of hip-hop music culture. And then they went and got two black dudes that were grad students at Harvard. And then they created something that the streets embraced and endorsed. And we're still here. We're still here today, even with different platforms. We're still here as we continue to grow. We're privately, independently owned. A lot of people don't know that. You know, compared to a lot of the other brands, stations, studios. You know, we're privately owned. So we thank you guys for being supportive of what we do.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about this Power 30 again.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
It's funny
that.
because I've been looking forward to this since I was a kid. Like the first time it ever came out, I remember seeing it because it always lets you know who the movers and shakers are in the industry.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I was in it before I owned it. Now, because of prior ownership, I don't put myself in it. But I used to be.
Number one, Londell McMillan again.
I won't be on the cover. I won't be in the issue. I won't be in any of those things. But what I will say is that, you know, it was something that was part of the culture. When you made that, you felt like you were actually making a lot of business moves. And we put a lot of credibility back into it. You know, you can't buy your way into it. You can't, like, hustle your way into it. You can't strong arm your way into it. You got to earn it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like y'all playing any favors whatsoever. It don't seem like y'all play favors with artists, radio stations, labels, nothing. It seems like
Athletes.
everything is like the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there's no favors. It's just all love.
Word.
You know, it's no favors, no love. And with that love, you know, and no favors, you know, congratulations, man. Congratulations to you guys for, you know, number one for 2 years in a row. I'm just
Yes.
excited to, you know, be here and celebrate with you all.
Well, we didn't want to toot our own horn.
You know,
but,
yeah, we are number one.
number one for 2 years in a row.
Andy, what you got to say about that?
I mean, you know, it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing when you work hard and people recognize your hard work.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All,
that's
all
the-
it
that's
does
the
is make
best
you
thing.
want to work even harder.
Absolutely.
Because
Like,
you want to
know,
maintain that position.
You want to stay on
know
that
what I mean?
list.
And I think for our industry, there really is nothing that recognizes, you know, people for all the hard work and the effort that they do annually.
Especially in radio.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
like, it's almost like radio is a lost art that people don't even really take too seriously anymore.
Right.
They take it for granted. So we're trying to bring back that feeling of people taking radio seriously again.
Well, you know, you guys bring a lot to the table, far beyond even just the radio. But I mean, that's the base. You know, the things that you're doing online and things you're doing in your social media, things you're doing with your own personal kind of brands, and of course, People Media and Arbitron speaks very loudly in terms of, you know, the ratings. So this was not something that was just kind of arbitrary. It was arbitronish.
Right.
And it's funny to watch us grow through the magazine because we was number 3 the first year, and we was in New York doing what we do, and then we We've become nationally syndicated.
Well, I was number
now.
31 the first
Well, I have to
time.
say this is my 5th year in a row in the Source Power 30.
I was number 31. Now I didn't
5
know
years in
this.
a row.
Is it 5?
Yes, because I was honorable mention one time.
Oh, I didn't make that either.
Yeah, I made honorable mention.
I remember the first time they did the radio list, me and Angela Yee was on there. Our other
But
co-host
before that,
didn't
I
make
was
it.
just yeah.
I said
other-
I was number 31.
The other member
No,
of the
Envy
Breakfast
wasn't
Club
on the
didn't make
list.
it.
That's funny.
But
But
then
you
we
know,
came
we
together.
upgraded him. So
You upgraded me.
You know what,
Thanks, guys.
Angela, as the 5th year, truly, you are a pioneer. You play your position in this trio.
Yeah, she's
really
older than
lovely.
all of us. That's why she was on there for
No,
5
not
years.
as an age pioneer, but just as a female
No,
that
Emmy's
was
like my
able to
son.
spit and kick it with the guys, and she holds herself very
She does.
elegant and very hardcore. So shoot my hat to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. McMillan. People don't acknowledge me in this room too frequently.
Now we do. So now, how do you get to that number 1 spot? Now, how do you compile all the numbers? How do you compile where the slots are?
Like I said, for radio, it's an analysis of the ratings. So we look at People Meter, we look at Arbitron, we look at the station, as well as the personalities, what they're doing on social media, what their influence is with their audience, what they're doing in terms of their own brand and their events, and the content that they produce, how well that content is received. And I must say, it was competitive with the number 1, 2, and 3, but you guys kind of edged them out. And I think that it really says a lot that you're in a competitive environment where each day everything matters, and you guys continue to win. So I just want to ask you, how you guys feel about
I feel great, man.
I wanna have a
I
party.
say, yeah, like, I want to have a party.
This year we're gonna do it right. Last year was a couple of fumbles on
I
that.
came-
We're gonna
I came
make
to the party.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we do it really, really big. You guys deserve a party. You deserve a lot. But
We should do the 40-40 in the Barclays Center. Since you own part of the Nets, I'm sure you can make that happen.
well, hey, when we start, hey, what about those Brooklyn Nets?
What about those Nets?
What about those Nets?
Nets look good.
If you don't
good.
have tickets.
They look
you
good
need
on
to-
paper.
Huh?
They look good on paper. We're going to see how they turn out.
Well, we got a great coach, former player. We hope he's going to be a great coach.
Jason
I can say
Kidd.
that.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd. And people are going to respect him and who he is.
Do you ever get beef over your picks? Like, do people catch feelings? Like,
Oh,
yo, why
man.
you have me at number such and such and not number 1?
Like, do people just stop speaking to you? They not cool with you no more?
Well, last year, you read from Rap Radar, my friend Elliot,
Elliot.
or at least he used to be my friend. But, I love Elliot. I love his family. And so at the end of the day, part of that list, which is the digital list, is not the actual person on the list. It's their platform.
Oh, Rap
And,
Radar's number 5 this year? Well, at
yeah,
least they moved up from
a
number
bit.
7.
Yeah, but shout out to Elliot. Clearly he's one of the leading journalists in the space. But people do catch feelings a bit, but I have not gotten much because it is really objective. It's not as if the top listed people are people who are in the magazine, who are sponsoring the magazine, who are my best friends. I mean, I get some of my friends and some of my former colleagues that used to work for me who helped to rebuild the brand of the Source who are not there, and they get a little offended. But again, at the end of the day, I pass that on, and we're objective about the list.
So how do you come to how do you make the digital list? Like, what is it, traffic? What is it based on?
It's definitely about the amount of traffic that you got on there, as well as your voice, and does it matter? So some people on the list may not have as much traffic as others, but when they speak, they have more influence and more power. And we think that there'll always be some controversy with the digital list, the power list, and even the big list. The big list, there's some names that are not there that used to be there, and people want to know, well, what happened to this one? What happened
Like
to
who?
that one? A number of people could arguably say Mona Scott, she should be on the list because she's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
She's fantastic. But when you look at this year, we decided to put Twitter, Facebook, and the mayor of Atlanta, who's, on the list. It becomes very difficult,
Gotcha.
each year. And but certainly a power player in her own right. And shout out to Mona Scott.
I see Rapfix had a big jump to number 2. I mean, the digital list is always interesting to me because I like to be on top of like all of the sites because of course I want them to support our content.
Right.
So it's like when I see like Rapfix, I'm like, okay, Hip Hop DX. I don't go to Hip Hop DX that much. I like the site, but I don't go there as much as I do Rap Radar. But
Well, Kim said something last time we were here. You know, there's those that are in the industry that have the influence that matter, but then there's the masses of people. So you may not go, but you know, a lot of people actually go there. And the argument also was, should World Star Hip Hop even be on the list anymore? Is it hip hop enough? You know, or is it other things? But clearly, with the amount of traffic that they're producing, they were number one this year. Unless we decide not to put them on the list.
I mean, World Star is definitely hip hop.
You can't go from being number one to not being on the list at all. I mean, obviously, you know, everybody wants to get their video on World Star.
World Star captures the lifestyle. It may not be the lifestyle you want to see, but that's what these is out here doing in these streets.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I wish we could actually film and put out the conversation, because those are the kind of discussions you have. Some will argue, like, take them off that list. They're not really hip hop, digital. They should probably be on a big power list, because the power list is measured in a different way. You know, it's also about people who come from the culture, who may have even transformed just hip hop product, but they come from the culture. You know, guys may remember a number of times Akon used to be on a list when Lady Gaga was first coming out, you know, and he's singing, and then also as Lady Gaga signed, he's not like a hip hop rapper or anything, but he had power in the culture. And whether or not social media organizations like Twitter and Facebook should be on the list. But this is a book for people who really don't know what's going on in the space, to quickly get it and then engage and contact people and try to do business. My goal is to do business. You see how I'm dressed today, Envy? You know, I'm here to do business, man. You know, I came to the source, and I want the source to be the source of good business in the culture, with the music, and with the lifestyle. And to the extent that we can be a resource for people in the community to do good business, that's why we're here.
Is the source profitable?
The source is actually breaking even. We have not built out our digital platform the way that we want to, so we're looking for strategic partners there, but we're still in business. I mean, Vibe is not printing, we're printing. XXL is part of a organization that has about 50 other magazines, so they kind of rocking with their company, and we're kind of independent, and we're doing well. We're going to keep pushing it, and as soon as we crack that code, that right digital code, and our strategic partnerships, we think that we're going to be in great shape. I also have another magazine called Jones Magazine.
Right.
But
that's for me.
Yeah, for the ladies in the culture. But we're going to keep pushing.
Now, Jay-Z is over Diddy now. These two guys go 1 and 2 all the time. Why was Jay-Z over Diddy this year?
Jay-Z this year over Diddy, I believe the consensus was that, you know, Jay-Z just had an amazing year with his transformation of his brand, the deal he made with Samsung.
That's an incredible deal.
The kind of forward thinking of technology meets branding meets music, being in advance with big data. A lot of that deal was about the data that was captured as a result of the campaign. So when you're starting to capture data, you got power. So part of what I want to share with the audience is that the power now is for companies to know your buying patterns. So you make a deal with an iconic artist, and then they click on, and people can track how you move and what you're doing. That information is power. So in addition, he sold his interest in the Nets, and he started an amazing sports marketing agency. That's transformative. Like, you know, you can go in and out of deals, and then break new ground. And he's now competing with like Scott Boras, the baseball agent. That you don't compete with Scott Boras unless you got power. So, you know, it just seems as if his businessman mogul warranted him to be number one again.
I agree
this
with
year.
that.
Yeah, and I think he'll always have the edge over Diddy just because he's still relevant musically. And when you're relevant musically, you have a lot of influence because you can sell a lot of products via your music without even
like
knowing
the Great
Gatsby
movie that the soundtrack and the movie that he did the music for.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna challenge you all and look to see what happens next year, because Diddy just got Revolt. See, so Revolt didn't kick in yet, and that's gonna be a whole music network. How many people from the culture actually owns a TV network?
Absolutely.
So next year it's gonna be hard to beat Diddy.
And there's a lot of people going over to Revolt.
The Breakfast Club too, then.
Yeah.
You want to make an announcement?
Nope. No, but there's a lot of people jumping ship from other companies and going over to Revolt that are, you know, high powered. So
just put it like this: we trying to stay number 1 on this list.
You trying to stay
For a long time.
So
we align ourselves.
Yeah, we got to align ourselves
strategically
until the next Breakfast Club comes around 10 years ago, and then, you know,
10 years
we'll have
ago?
Clear Channel sign them, and we'll bow out gracefully.
10 years later.
10 years later, yeah.
When you talk about Diddy, you know, he's a personification of power, man. The guy's just the
Absolutely.
power of his own will. That man is Mr. Will Power.
And he's smart. He knows how to line himself up with what's hot.
And strategic, and he goes out and gets it. So to the extent that he's lining up with the number one on our digital Power 30, he knows what's hot. To the extent that he's going to put together a great network, he's going to, you know, the only other person in that space that ever did that was Bob Johnson, and he sold it for $3 billion.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Wow. All right, Diddy.
All right, Bob Johnson.
Gotta ask Diddy for some more money. Well, we appreciate you joining us and stopping through as well and dropping off the Source magazine, which is in your. Where can I get it from? Any outlet?
You can get it
Any
all
newsstand, any
newsstands,
bookstore.
bookstores. You can get it in the airports. You
You
can
still do
still
monthly,
get
right?
it, and we're still
Subscriptions?
it's 9 times a year, and subscriptions. You can go online. You can tweet me at Londell McMillan to get it. You can go to the Source. Go to our Facebook. And finally, I just want to say to all of the people that went out to vote yesterday, you know, much respect and thank you for going out to vote, because, you know, voting is power, and we got to continue to use the power. It looks like there's going to be some runoffs in this election, so very, very happy that people came out to vote, and thanks for having us and supporting the Source, and continue the great work.
Always, man.
You vote for Anthony Weiner?
No, I did not.
Okay, I was just checking. 'Cause I was scared.
His name threw me off from the gate.
I love Anthony Weiner. That was my vote.
Well, it's the
Really?
Breakfast Club.
Because I can relate to him. I like
stop
some picks too.
No, stop it.
my
Stop it.
goodness.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's the Breakfast Club. It's the Source magazine. Mr. Londell McMillan.
Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your ear.
Weekday morning 6 to 10.